Hey, Scruffy. Is Matt still wet? Yeah, it was very wet here. I think it's starting to dry, but yeah, it looks kind of wet still. So I guess I have a moat. I guess you don't want to come in. So it looks like the rain's going to stop for a day. So we had a lot of rain this morning, but it stopped around lunchtime. Okay, so I got a fresh can of Hearty Cuts with real turkey. And then I have kibble and real turkey. So I got the actual turkey scraps from the real turkey I made. Okay, so I see parts of the deck are wet, but I think the mat where Scruffy stands is probably dry. Okay. Chair's actually a little wet. Should have checked that before I sat down. Oh well. So yeah, we got pretty strong wind and rain overnight and this morning. I'm actually worried about section of the fence where the gate is. It was kind of blown. It was blown really hard, so the gate inverted. So the door opened the wrong. Was forced to open and bend the way it's not supposed to go, and the fence is kind of leaning a little. So I was trying to get that upright again. Might need a... I don't know what I'm going to do about it. It's been kind of wobbly for a while, so I don't know if it's actually that much worse than it's been. It's just, yeah, the wind just kind of stressed it. So yeah, the rain really did come down hard. So last night, yeah, I was yelling, just be heard on the camera, and to hear myself, it was so loud I could barely hear myself, and I could barely hear Scruffy. The software settings, or the software has a voice isolation filter, and I cranked that up really, really high, and it actually was pretty effective. It actually was able to suppress a lot of the rain noise. You could hear me yelling, and you could hear Scruffy meowing, though those were a little quiet. And I think it's because the voice isolation filter was not isolating Scruffy's meows, so it got suppressed, and so sort of like how the rain was suppressed, Scruffy's meows were, I don't know if suppressed is the correct word, but because they came out about as loud as I could hear them out because of the rain. So the meows were probably kind of loud, but the rain was so loud I couldn't hear the meows. Well, even after all the software filters, the meows are still hard to hear. So the voice isolation stuff pretty much just worked for my voice and making the rain less annoying. And I think I'm starting to hear a little bit of rain right now, but I thought the forecast had rain stop for the next day. So tomorrow is supposed to be a little bit, I think, partly cloudy, a little sun, and then the following 3 days is more rain. So we're supposed to get a break tomorrow and this afternoon. So I did check on Scruffy late last night through the window, or peeking through the blinds, and he was sleeping on top of the shelter again, so he wasn't inside, even though it was windy and raining. So yeah, it's a weird cat. I think you'd want to be inside the shelter where it's nice and warm. And it's elevated, so I put it on a couple wood planks, so it's elevated above the deck, so it's not an immediate risk of absorbing water from the ground. And then it's under the table, so the whole thing is already kind of sheltered from the wind and the rain. Yet, yeah, he'd rather sleep on top of it. So, let's see. Yeah, I was reading the local news and the weather, or not so much the news, but the weather, the weather broadcast for the local region, and I was curious, about the flooding, potential flooding, and not in my immediate vicinity, but yeah, kind of in this region. Yeah, they were actually handing out free sandbags because I guess there were areas expected to get flooding, and I think they ran out of sandbags for people, so they were working on getting more. And I was checking for the creek that I was talking about, which is closest to me, and I think they actually have sensors and dedicated web pages to two different parts of the creek. So there's like the north and the south, I think, side, and the north side, I think, is the one I usually um, bike near. So they had a website that was active for the south side, and I think it was okay. But when I found the north side website, they actually don't have any working sensors, I guess. So I guess they still haven't actually finished building the automated infrastructure for that section. So there's no way to know, what the water levels are at that creek without actually going there, at least for civilians. Not very helpful. So I'm actually thinking, with how much rain we got yesterday and today, and then that creek may be full now. It might even be flooded. I was very surprised at how hard the rain was. So I'm hoping that this might mean that when winter ends, they might finally end water rationing. They'll see, hey, finally have the reservoirs filled. I think I get Scruffy's food. Okay, let's get your food. Oops. Okay. So let's see. Yeah. So anyway, this morning, yeah, lots of rain. Scruffy was on top of the shelter, and then this afternoon, though, yeah, the rain stopped. Sun came out. Actually, did the sun come out? I think the sun came out just briefly, like around lunchtime, and then it went overcast again. But yeah, Scruffy ended up hanging up out on the table. So I caught him late afternoon on the table. Actually, right after lunch. So he was on the table when I found him at lunch, and he was staring at me. So I was about to get him lunch, and he saw me uh, through the window, and he, staring at me. And I was doing the slow blinking thing, looking at him. And he decided, yeah, he was going to jump off the table, and I was going to feed him. And when he jumped off the table, he meowed a couple times. Hey, Scruffy. Oh, it's wet there, huh? Yeah, I don't think I want to stand there. Looks like it's soaked. So it's sunny now. It was really raining hard this morning. I didn't think it would stop. The temperature's a little warmer too. It's colder this morning. So I saw you're sleeping on the... No. Sleeping on the shelter again. Not in it. Okay, I'm gonna walk over here. It's drier. I had not planned on the rain stopping this afternoon, but when I saw that it was going to stop raining for basically the rest of the day and then through tomorrow, I decided I probably should take advantage of it and go outside. Figured it'd be too wet to do a bike ride, so I'm thinking maybe I'll think about it tomorrow. Probably still be too wet, but kind of play it by ear. I'm actually curious to try checking out the creek, see if it's flooded. But yeah, so I decided to go for a run, go to the local park here, and it also was, yeah, uh, really wet. So there was one trail it's kind of on dirt, and it was really muddy, and there were sections of it that were flooded. So I tried, I didn't know it at the time, but I was going down the trail and it got worse and worse, and I was having to try to walk around sections that were completely flooded. Um, so I ended up, so that was my first lap basically. I decided I did kind of a hybrid, not a long run, but not something kind of between an interval run and a long run. So I kind of did little short sprints, but I wasn't pushing quite as hard as the normal interval run, but I was able to go a little bit longer. And so this means I ended up doing a second lap, but part of the second lap was I had to modify it to avoid the flooded out section. So I had a kind of a different route today. And then let's see, there was actually a big tree on a different section of the park near a trail that fell over, and the roots actually came out of the ground, so the whole tree just completely fell over. So I've been talking about a lot of trees that have been falling over last year, but all of those were like a section of the tree split off, like the trunk split in half or something, or a large section of the tree higher up split off from the tree and fell. This tree completely fell over, so it was collapsed onto the trail, and the base and the roots were up in the air. So that was pretty severe. And let's see. Saw a new cat. So it was another white and black cat. But the one I was talking about the other day, that was like almost half white and black. It's slightly more white than black. It was like white in the core and then like big black sections on its back. This one was mostly white with a lot of kind of large black spots. I feel like only a few of them, but yeah, very large black sections. So this cat was hanging out in the middle of the field and overgrown grass, and it was kind of walking through carefully, trying to keep its head above the grass and I guess deal with the mud. And then it just spontaneously decided it wanted to leave the park, so it kind of dashed out of the park, ran across the street and towards somebody's house. So I don't think I've seen this cat before. It might be a cat that lives at one of those houses. I don't know. Decided it was going to hang out in the park for today for whatever reason. Maybe the fact that very few people were out today because the weather's so bad. Though when I was running, it stopped raining, so it was fine. So I'm actually partly curious about the creek water levels, because if we are going to get an additional 3 days of rain after tomorrow, I'm kind of wondering what's going to happen to that creek. Although I don't know how strong the rains are going to be. So I'm moving the balls right now. There's a little bit more stuff in the bowl. Looks like there's a piece of canned turkey and some kibble. Looks like he ate all the real turkey. But I guess Scruffy gets a reprieve for one day, so the weather's gonna hopefully be calm tonight and tomorrow. The temperature dropped a little today. It feels colder. Just a little though. 5 degrees. So Scruffy ate everything. No more food. So we gotta get up. And I'm gonna have to, I think, check for any more things blown over. Okay, folks. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.